Winners take full responsibility for their lives because they understand that waiting for someone else to fix their problems or for circumstances to change is a guarantee for stagnation. They know that blaming others or external factors only gives away their personal power and keeps them trapped in a cycle of frustration. Responsibility is the foundation of control. When you claim full ownership of your actions, decisions, and outcomes, you gain the freedom to create the life you want. This doesn't mean that life will be easy or that challenges will disappear, but it means that you are no longer a victim of your circumstances. Winners see every obstacle as an opportunity to exercise this responsibility. They examine their choices honestly and recognize where they contributed to a problem or where they failed to take proactive steps. This self-awareness is not about guilt. It is about empowerment. Each day they ask themselves, what can I do right now to improve my situation? Rather than, why is this happening to me? Taking responsibility also extends to emotional control. Winners understand that their moods, reactions, and attitudes are their own, and they refuse to let external events dictate how they feel or behave. When something goes wrong, they resist the urge to complain, blame, or justify. Instead, they pause, reflect, and decide how to respond effectively. This mental discipline develops resilience because life will inevitably bring disappointments. But winners know that they can navigate those challenges without surrendering to negativity. They cultivate a mindset where setbacks are temporary and manageable, not permanent verdicts on their worth or ability. Moreover, winners take responsibility for their growth. They do not wait for someone to teach them, guide them, or hand them opportunities. They actively seek knowledge, skills, and experiences that move them closer to their goals. They read, they learn, they practice, and they experiment, knowing that personal development is a non-negotiable part of success. This proactive approach creates a sense of momentum because every small action they take compounds into significant progress over time. Winners understand that even when external circumstances are unfavorable, there is always something within their control, their effort, their mindset, their attitude that can influence outcomes. By consistently embracing responsibility, winners develop self-trust. They know that their success does not depend on luck or chance. It depends on their commitment to act. When they make mistakes, they acknowledge them, learn from them, and adjust their strategies. This approach eliminates wasted energy on regret or blame and redirects it toward meaningful action. Every challenge becomes a lesson, every obstacle becomes a training ground, and every choice becomes a building block of their character. In essence, taking full responsibility transforms the way winners interact with the world. It gives them authority over their lives, strengthens their decision-making, and empowers them to move with confidence, knowing that the direction of their life is in their own hands. Winners set clear intentions every morning because they know that clarity is the compass that guides action. Without a defined purpose or direction, energy is wasted, decisions are delayed, and opportunities slip by unnoticed. Starting the day without intention is like sailing a ship without a rudder. Motion may occur, but progress is random, and the destination is uncertain. Winners understand that the mind follows focus, so they begin each morning by asking themselves, what must I accomplish today to move closer to my goals? This simple but powerful practice aligns their thoughts, actions, and priorities, creating a sense of purpose that drives productivity and resilience. Setting intentions is not just about writing a to-do list or listing tasks. It is about determining the most meaningful actions that will shape the day and ultimately the future. Winners identify what is urgent versus what is important, what aligns with their long-term vision versus what merely distracts. By doing this, they ensure that their energy is invested in areas that yield the highest return on their effort. This focus prevents wasted time and reduces stress because winners do not try to do everything. They do what truly matters consistently. Intentions provide structure, but they also inspire motivation. When you know exactly why you are doing something, even mundane tasks gain significance because they are connected to a larger purpose. Moreover, winners understand that intention is a mental rehearsal for success. Before taking action, they visualize what they want to achieve, imagine the steps required, and anticipate challenges. This mental preparation builds confidence and primes the mind for decisive action. It also reduces hesitation because when the brain has already mapped out the path, it can respond more efficiently to obstacles and opportunities. This is why setting intentions is more than planning. It is programming the mind for success. Intentions also help winners measure progress. By defining specific outcomes each morning, they create benchmarks that indicate whether they are moving forward or need to adjust their approach. This self-awareness keeps them accountable, prevents stagnation, and encourages continuous improvement. They understand that momentum is built not through sporadic bursts of effort, but through consistent, intentional steps taken every single day. Another critical aspect of setting intentions is alignment with personal values. Winners ensure that what they prioritize each day resonates with their deeper goals and principles. This alignment creates internal motivation that is far more reliable than external pressure or fleeting enthusiasm. When your actions reflect your values, discipline feels natural and persistence becomes easier even during difficult. By committing to setting clear intentions every morning, winners cultivate a life of purpose, clarity, and focus. Each day becomes a deliberate act of growth rather than a passive drift through circumstances. This daily habit transforms ordinary mornings into opportunities to shape extraordinary outcomes. Because when the mind knows where it is going, the steps to get there become obvious and the path forward becomes unstoppable. Winners protect their mind from negativity because they understand that what enters the mind shapes the quality of their thoughts, decisions, and ultimately their life. Every day, we are exposed to countless influences, conversations, social media, news, and the attitudes of those around us. For most people, these influences go unnoticed, slowly shaping beliefs and limiting potential. Winners, however, are highly selective about what they allow into their mental space. They realize that negativity, whether in the form of doubt, criticism, gossip, or fear, acts like a poison, weakening resolve and clouding judgment. Protecting the mind is not about avoiding reality. It is about choosing to focus on what builds strength, clarity, and opportunity, rather than what drains energy or encourages defeat. The first step winners take is awareness. They notice the sources of negativity in their lives and make deliberate choices to limit exposure. This might mean muting social media accounts that spread constant complaints, spending less time with people who drain energy instead of inspire it, or avoiding news and media that dwell on fear rather than solutions. Winners do not pretend the world is perfect, but they refuse to let the negativity of others dictate their mental state. They treat their mind as a garden, consciously deciding which seeds to nurture and which weeds to remove before they take root. Winners also practice mental hygiene by intentionally filling their minds with positive, empowering, and constructive content. They read books, listen to podcasts, and engage in conversations that teach, inspire, and broaden perspectives. They surround themselves with ideas that challenge them to grow, elevate their thinking, and reinforce resilience. The mind, like a muscle, strengthens when exercised with productive thoughts and weakens when dominated by criticism or self-doubt. By consistently feeding their mind with the right input, winners create a mental environment that fosters creativity, confidence, and decisive action. Another important aspect of protecting the mind is controlling the internal dialogue. Negative self-talk can be even more harmful than external negativity. Winners learn to recognize destructive thoughts, question their validity, and replace them with constructive alternatives. They understand that self-limiting beliefs are often invisible barriers, and changing the narrative within is essential for achieving success. By actively shaping their thoughts, they create a mindset of empowerment, possibility, and resilience. Winners also recognize the importance of emotional regulation in protecting the mind. They do not allow frustration, anger, or fear to dominate their thinking. Instead, they respond with calm, measured, and solution-oriented thinking. By mastering emotional control, they prevent negative experiences from derailing progress and maintain a clear focus on their objectives. Ultimately, protecting the mind from negativity is about creating conditions where growth, clarity, and purpose can flourish. Winners understand that the quality of their thoughts determines the quality of their life, and they guard their mental space as fiercely as they would guard their most valuable possession. Every decision, every influence, and every thought is examined through the lens of whether it strengthens or weakens them. Through this daily practice, they ensure that their mind remains a powerful tool for achievement, not a playground for fear or doubt. Winners practice consistency, not intensity, because they understand that sustained, repeated action creates results far more powerful than occasional bursts of effort. Many people mistakenly believe that success comes from sudden inspiration or massive sporadic effort. They wait for the perfect moment, the ideal opportunity, or a surge of motivation, and when it doesn't come, progress stalls. Winners, on the other hand, know that motivation is unreliable, emotions fluctuate, and external circumstances are often beyond control. The real key to achievement is showing up every day, doing the work, and building momentum through persistent, disciplined action. It is the small, repeated actions that compound over time into extraordinary results. Consistency is not about working harder in one moment. It is about committing to a rhythm of effort that becomes habitual. Winners develop routines that align with their goals, ensuring that progress is inevitable even on days when energy is low or challenges feel overwhelming. They understand that habits once established remove the need for constant decision-making and willpower. Each day, their actions reinforce the direction of their life. And over weeks, months, and years, these small actions create massive transformation. It is not glamorous. It is not always exciting, but it is effective. And it is the foundation upon which excellence is built. Another aspect of consistency is resilience. Winners do not stop when results are slow or when obstacles appear. They understand that progress is rarely linear. There are setbacks, delays, and moments of doubt. But the consistent individual keeps moving forward, knowing that the accumulation of effort eventually breaks through resistance. Intensity alone cannot replace this persistence. A short, intense burst of work may create a temporary spike, but without follow-through, it fades. Consistency ensures that even small progress compounds, making momentum a powerful ally. Winners also combine consistency with focus. They do not scatter their effort across every possible opportunity or pursue fleeting interests. They identify key areas that will have the greatest impact on their goals and apply consistent effort there. This focus ensures that their energy is not diluted and that every repeated action contributes meaningfully to long-term success. They understand that direction plus consistency equals unstoppable forward motion. Consistency builds confidence as well. Each day of deliberate action reinforces self-trust, proving that the individual is capable of following through even when it is difficult. This inner assurance reduces hesitation, increases decisiveness, and strengthens the mental discipline necessary for tackling larger challenges. The compounding effect of consistent effort extends beyond tangible results. It shapes character, determination, and the ability to overcome adversity. Winners understand that mastery is not achieved overnight. It is earned through repeated, disciplined effort that becomes habitual over time. Intensity without consistency creates peaks and valleys. Consistency without intensity builds a steady, unshakable foundation. By committing to daily, purposeful action, winners ensure that progress is inevitable, momentum grows, and the gap between themselves and those who act sporadically widens every day. Their results are the natural consequence of a life lived with patience, discipline, and unwavering dedication to forward movement. Winners learn from failure instead of fearing it because they recognize that failure is not a verdict on their worth or ability, but a teacher guiding them toward improvement. Most people react to failure with fear, shame, or avoidance, allowing setbacks to paralyze their progress. Winners, however, understand that each mistake contains valuable information, lessons that reveal what works, what doesn't, and where adjustments are necessary. They approach failure with curiosity and a growth mindset, analyzing the situation carefully to extract every insight possible. This approach transforms what would have been a stumbling block into a stepping stone, accelerating learning and paving the way for future success. Failure also serves as a test of resilience. Winners know that success is rarely linear. It is a journey filled with obstacles, detours, and unexpected challenges. By confronting failure directly, they develop mental toughness and emotional control. They refuse to let disappointment dictate their actions or cloud their judgment. Instead of reacting impulsively or giving up, they pause, reflect, and determine a strategic response. This ability to remain composed under pressure strengthens their confidence and ensures that setbacks become temporary challenges rather than permanent defeats. Another reason winners embrace failure is that it fuels innovation. When a plan doesn't work, it forces the individual to think differently, explore alternatives, and develop creative solutions. Winners see failure as a laboratory for experimentation, a necessary part of discovering what truly works. They recognize that every failed attempt brings them closer to a breakthrough and that stagnation occurs not from failure, but from refusing to act out of fear of failure. By reframing failure as a necessary step in the process, they maintain momentum and continue to progress toward their goals. Winners also understand the importance of personal accountability in failure. They do not blame external circumstances, other people, or bad luck. Instead, they ask themselves what they could have done differently, what choices led to the outcome, and how they can improve next time. This honest self-assessment prevents repeated mistakes and ensures continuous growth. It also strengthens character because taking responsibility for setbacks builds integrity, discipline, and the courage to face future challenges head-on. Moreover, winners cultivate a mindset where failure is temporary and feedback-rich. They know that setbacks are only as powerful as the meaning assigned to them. By treating failure as a source of data rather than as a final judgment, they maintain optimism, perseverance, and motivation. Each failure becomes a building block, adding experience, wisdom, and perspective that no success alone could provide. This approach reduces fear, encourages risk-taking, and positions winners to seize opportunities that others avoid out of hesitation or insecurity. Ultimately, winners view failure not as an enemy, but as a vital partner in the journey to achievement. They understand that avoiding mistakes guarantees stagnation, while embracing failure as a teacher guarantees growth. Each setback becomes an opportunity to strengthen skills, sharpen judgment, and develop resilience. By learning from failure rather than fearing it, winners turn adversity into advantage, setbacks into lessons, and challenges into a powerful catalyst for long-term success. Winners surround themselves with people who challenge and elevate them because they understand that the company they keep directly shapes their thoughts, habits, and outcomes. Most people underestimate the influence of their social environment. They spend time with those who reinforce comfort, mediocrity, or fear, and wonder why progress feels slow or why ambition wanes. Winners, however, recognize that success is not a solo journey. The right people provide accountability, inspiration, and wisdom. They push you to think bigger, act bolder, and refuse to let excuses or doubts go unchallenged. By deliberately choosing associations that encourage growth, winners create a supportive ecosystem that magnifies their efforts and accelerates achievement. Being around high-performing individuals exposes winners to new ideas and perspectives. These are people who have faced obstacles, achieved results, and learned lessons that can save others time and effort. The conversations they engage in are rich with insights, strategies, and constructive feedback. Winners listen actively, question thoughtfully, and integrate what resonates into their own lives. This constant exchange of knowledge elevates thinking and inspires action, making it easier to tackle challenges that would be overwhelming in isolation. Winners also benefit from the motivational energy of like-minded peers. Enthusiasm, determination, and optimism are contagious. Being in the presence of those who refuse to settle for less naturally raises standards and reinforces the belief that higher goals are attainable. This energy is especially critical during moments of doubt or fatigue because it reminds them of their potential and keeps momentum alive. Surrounding oneself with driven, positive, and ambitious people creates an environment where growth is normalized and stagnation is no longer acceptable. Another key aspect is accountability. Winners choose relationships where honesty and challenge are encouraged. These are people who will confront complacency, call out excuses, and celebrate progress. Accountability partners or mentors create a framework where consistent action becomes a habit because there is someone to answer to, not out of pressure, but out of shared commitment to growth. This dynamic keeps winners aligned with their goals and provides an external mirror for internal progress. Winners are also selective about avoiding toxic influences. Negative, envious, or fear-driven individuals can quietly erode confidence and redirect focus toward distractions. Winners recognize that time and energy are finite resources, and protecting them from unnecessary drains is critical. By consciously limiting exposure to negativity, they maintain mental clarity and emotional stability, ensuring that their energy is invested in relationships and activities that contribute positively to their ambitions. Ultimately, surrounding themselves with people who challenge and elevate them is not about arrogance or comparison. It is about alignment with excellence. Winners understand that personal growth multiplies when it is shared, and that their network can either limit them or launch them into greater heights. By intentionally seeking out those who inspire, challenge, and elevate, they create a circle of influence that continuously fuels learning, resilience, and achievement. In this environment, success is not just possible, it becomes inevitable, because the collective energy, wisdom, and accountability of those around them amplify the effort and determination of every individual within the circle.